Hello again, welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Enigmatica 2 Expert. Now, since last episode, I've done a bit of building and I've done a bit of planning as well. I guess we'll start with the building. I have done a bit of clearing here. I've started working on adding, this is going to get a bit more leaves. This is just kind of like the bones of it, right? It kind of like a rib cage look to it. I've started laying out some of this wall. I still have to do this section right here. And also adding in some leaves. This still needs a bit more work in here. Not to mention I need to finalize what plants are actually going to go in here, because I kind of have like a mix-up of things that aren't actually getting harvested. Now, it was brought up in the comments by Mr. Man, or not in the comments, on the Discord, by Mr. Man that sugarcane and cactus will get harvested by the harvester, but you have to plant the initial crop on the ground level so the harvester can detect it. So I'm probably not gonna do sugar canes because we already have 104 stacks and it's voiding sugar canes from the IC2 setup. So I'm just gonna do cactus in here and then some other stuff. So I've got to figure out exactly what all I want in here and then finish up this area and then a little bit of touch-up stuff, a little bit of decorative stuff through here. But for the most part, I mean, this is pretty well. This end of things, prior to the drawer, this all has to be done. But it's steadily getting there. It's steadily getting there. And I'm steadily getting a little bit more time to play each day as things kind of get settled here at the house as well. And then over here, I have been working on this. Now, this cobblestone is not going to stay here. This is eventually going to be a waterfall that falls down. And this is going to go a lot deeper. And, of course, this is going to get tore up. That's just there so I can do the ceiling a bit easier. And then I've got to put railings and all that fun stuff. Now, down here is actually where our tree farm is going to go. We're going to be setting that up in an upcoming episode. And then right here, we're going to have, this is very, very small steps just made with the hammer here. But it comes down, and then this is going to come out actually a little bit below this point. I'm going to do some steps that come out. And then it's going to go down. And it's going to go down deep. And then, of course, we'll have the waterfalls kind of running off those sides right there and all that good stuff. So... yeah, I've been working on this a lot. And I felt like the Asgard quarry, just kind of running this with a hammer, you know. But we're going to be needing that area down in there before too long. That is the fourth segment of the build. Basically, the build is, you know, it's 4 segments. And that's the fourth and final segment type. You know, we kind of got the Dragon Roost, we got the Pirate's Cove. We've got this ancient area that I still need to expand on. Because I need more of these buildings, and I actually need to finish these buildings. They have a little bit of stuff that needs to be done to them. And then we're going to have the lower sections. The deep places of the earth, as I like to call it a lot of times. So, I have been working on that. And then if we come over here, I have dug out this little area here. That kind of runs back, and this actually comes out to... if we follow it all the way back. But out here, this is where the cove is going to exit. You know, we're going to have a water line that comes down through here. And then we're going to have, well, back along through that little pathway I made. And then we're going to have a big cove back in here. Where, like, the big pirate flagship will be and all that stuff. So, a lot to work on. But, I mean, that's pretty much the extent of it. Originally, it was just going to be a Pirate's Cove, and then it's turned into this Asgard level monster build. So, but it's going to come out somewhere around in here. I haven't exactly decided the exact spot where the cove is going to open up, but it's going to be right back in here. And I'm debating about maybe doing like a skull for the exit, you know, out of like bone blocks. Maybe. We'll see. Just kind of something I wanted to go ahead and plot out, at least get an idea of where this needed to run and stuff. So... here fairly soon, I can start building this back a little bit. But, I mean, I have a lot of other stuff I'm working on as well. And then, of course, these multiple floors will connect out, and then we're going to have kind of like, I'm thinking like platforms that run down along through there. We're actually going to start these platforms here soon, but I want to get the wood automation up and going first before we start the platforms, because I'm so tired of making planks and sticks. So tired of it. So I would like to get the wood automation done here soon. Not this episode, but here soon. I would like to get that done. And so I can actually start building up the platforms. So, because that's going to add a lot to this area, I think. And then I added some tables around here. I still need to make up some chairs and some more tables. This is ironwood, so I'm going to have to farm up a little bit more ironwood. I actually used all that I had to make this. Anyhow, what we're going to be doing this episode, I did some, I mentioned at the beginning, I did some testing and planning, and I have decided on the reactor design that I want to use and the exact reactor setup and the setup for making UU matter. And I'm very happy with it. I'm very happy with it because the starting setup that we're going to use, of course, this can be expanded. This is just a baseline starter setup that we're going to be using. But we're going to be producing about a bucket every hour, roughly. A bucket of UU matter. So I know in my test world it was doing about 250 millibuckets per about 20 minutes. Roughly about 20 minutes. But it wasn't running at full speed because I was only feeding in like 2,000 EU per tick, and it's actually going to be a little bit higher than that into the matter fabricators. So, and we'll be running 100% uptime on scrap boxes and all that fun stuff as well. But we have a lot we have to prep. We have an absolute massive amount of stuff that we have to prep. Starting with, or not really starting with, but one thing that we need to do this episode, because I have not covered it, we need to get this stuff up and going so that I can actually craft these things. But we are going to need 47 overclockers for this setup. Not to mention I want overclockers for stuff in here and some upcoming expansions for our IC2 stuff. Because as we start moving into UU matter, we can start mass producing MFSUs and things like that are a little bit more intricate to craft and take a little bit more time. We can start just pumping those things out, right? And so it's going to make expanding IC2 a lot easier. Of course, a lot of it will be off camera because it's basically stuff that we've already covered. But I do want to expand a lot with IC2, and I'll update you guys as I do that. But as we move into other things, this has been great for a starter setup, but it's time we get like the super overclock machines where we can throw stuff in and it's just like done, like super fast. So, anyways, it's also going to be a dual reactor. We're going to have 2 reactors instead of just 1 reactor for our UU matter generation. But the nice thing is, we will be easily able to replicate RTG fuel. And so, we can do 32 EU per tick, little reactors that are just completely passive. And we can also use the UU matter to make our quad fuel rods for making more power with our reactor. It's great. And we're going to have a lot of fun with it, I promise. Plus, this pack actually has, if we take a look here at UU matter, I think it's not UU matter, is it? Actually, I think it's the replicator. If we look at this and the information, you can see there's custom blocks that can be scanned and replicated. There's iridium ore, shards, electronic circuits, advanced alloy, advanced machine casings, thermal expansion machines, frames. There's all kinds of stuff. Not to mention there's litherite. And there is chaos shards. Just lots of good things. Fusion crafting cores. There's a lot of really good things that we can create. Pretty much all the machine casings moving forward. We can craft one, scan it, and then replicate it. And we're going to have plenty of UU matter, I should think. Because even the chaos shards, we'll have plenty of UU matter like pretty quick to make chaos shards. Because it's only, I think Xavian said it's like 6 buckets per chaos shard, which really isn't that much. Especially when we'll be making like a bucket an hour on a server, it's not going to be too bad. So, but anyways, we have a lot of stuff we have to make for this whole process. The first thing that I want to make this episode, overclockers, and we first need to get into making the coolant for it. Now, if you take a look at IC2 coolant, you need the fluid solid canning machine. You can either do this with water. 8 lapis lazuli dust makes a bucket of IC2 coolant, or you can use distilled water, and it only takes 1 dust per bucket of IC2 coolant. So naturally, we're going to go with distilled water. It's not that difficult to do. What we're going to need to make is we are going to need to make... Actually, let me... is this thing done over here? I hope it's done. It is. There's another 63 of those. Let me drop in these blocks of iron. And metal former, there's 64 of those as well. I have lots of things going at the moment. But what we need to do is we need to make distillers. Right here. So we're going to do solar distillers. You can also do the condenser from IC2, which requires steam. And then you're going to have to feed power into it, and you can do heating vents and stuff. It's a little bit faster, but I like the solar ones personally. The only thing is, of course, we live down in a cave. Not a big problem. We're going to put it up on top of the mountain. to do it. And it's basically just going to draw sunlight. It's going to heat the water and turn it into distilled water. It's going to distill it. And these are fairly cheap. A little bit of glass, some universal fluid cells, and some basic machine casings. So let me get... I've got 3 basic machine casings here. We might actually start with 3. Yeah, we'll start with 3 and then I can make more later or whatever. And expand it. But I think 3 starting out should be okay. Should be alright. Because this actually crafts... Well, actually, I think it takes 4... Let's see. The overclockers... We're going to have to actually get into a little bit of forestry here. The carpenter. And the carpenter is, I think, pretty all standard. Yeah. Well, not standard, but not expensive to make this. But we are going to have to do 3 buckets of IC2 coolant per 2 overclocker upgrades. Actually, not too bad. Okay, so let's get our solar distillers. There is 3 of those. Easy peasy. And then we are also going to want to get... I am going to need more fluid conduits for starters. So we'll go ahead and get a little bit more of these. Like 16 should be good for right now. And then I will probably end up upgrading the number of solar distillers that we've got. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think... It all depends. Because I may log on tomorrow and there just like be tons of distilled water. So, okay, so we've got that. We've got that. I've also got a sink from Cooking for Blockheads to provide water. And then another thing that we're going to need is we're going to need to get ourselves some ender tanks. I'm going to use 2 of these. And of course we've covered these before because I used them to move lava. So no biggie. Let me get these crafted up real quick. And I'll be back here in just a second. Okay, I got the ender tanks made. Let's go ahead and toss these down. And I'm going to go ahead and do them as blue, blue, blue. And then we're going to go ahead and diamond lock them. There we go. Okay. So blue, blue, blue is going to be our distilled water line. Makes sense. And I don't know, is there... Tell you what, we're going to set this up here and it may move. Because whenever I build out the platforms, I'll have some sun exposure out here. So I may end up sticking our solar distillers out here somewhere. But for right now, I'm going to put them just right on top of this mountain. I actually come up here pretty often if I need to farm trees. And let's find an area that's already chunk loaded. Like this area right over here. This will be great. And we'll go ahead, let's see. I guess I'm going to set up the solar distillers like this. And then we'll do fluid conduits that plug into them, like so. And if you open these up, this is what it looks like on the inside. You can put buckets in here and get the distilled water if you want with buckets. We're going to be using, of course, fluid conduits. We'll go ahead and put the sink right there. And we're going to say that you can extract always active, and it's going to start pulling water into our solar distillers. Now, these are only going to work when the sun's up. So, right now, they're not really going to do anything. And they're not, I mean, they're not the fastest thing in the world about converting this. But it's not terribly slow either. You know, I actually used these in our Direwolf series. I think was the last time that I used these. And it was, I used a bit more than this. I will probably make more of these, but it was plenty of distilled water for our overclockers. Of course, we're doing a lot more IC2 on here, but I think it should still be plenty. Okay, so we've actually got some distilled water right there in the pipeline. So let's go ahead and set this up. And there we go. We've gotten 4 millibuckets, 5. The water actually sits inside these fluid conduits. It doesn't pull everything out, but you can see it's going up about a millibucket a second. Not the best thing in the world. I think I will want some more of these, but well, I'm probably going to need the distilled water soon enough. I'll make some more of those here in just a second. But before I do, what I want to do is, now that we've got that, we need to actually make the coolant. And this stuff is, like I said, just fluid solid canning machine to make this with a little bit of lapis dust, and that'll make our IC2 coolant. So let's pop down, and let me go ahead and make a fluid solid canning machine, and I'll probably actually go ahead. I've got iron running through here. I actually have a bunch of iron plates already, so I guess I didn't really have to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and start compressing these, and I'm going to make some more solar distillers real quick as well. So I'll be back here in just a second once I get that stuff made up. Okay, I went ahead and added 7 more solar distillers, and we are now producing a decent amount of distilled water, and I also prepped up the fluid solid canning machine. Basically, I just made 8 more machine casings and just went ahead and made a bunch of those. The solar distillers are super cheap. For right now, we're going to set this up right here. This will probably end up getting moved here soon. After we get into replication. There's a reason for it, but anyways, we're going to set it up right there. And there we go. It's got some power. And let's go ahead and set up our ender tank right there. And we'll go ahead and set that to output. And there we go. Distilled water went in there. We've got 1,000 millibuckets right now. So we've got enough to make a bucket's worth. Must be nighttime. I was like, wait, why is it not running? It's nighttime. But this is something that's going to build up on the server. You know, I mean, it's going to be running 24/7. So we're going to have, starting out, it's not a lot, but it will be. It will be plenty. And then what we're going to do is we're going to have to add some lapis dust to this. And so let's get ourselves like a stack of lapis. And I actually need to go mine lapis. I only have like 4 stacks left. And let's toss that in the macerator. Get that macerating up. I'm so ready to have just like crazy overclockers in this. Because 2, it's still really slow. And it feels more and more slow every day. There we go. There's 1 piece. That'll be enough to get us started. We'll go ahead and we'll toss that. Oops. We need to set this first. Set it to fluid and rich. And we'll toss in our lapis dust. And there we go. It's going to start running. And it's going to turn that lapis dust and that distilled water into coolant. And there we go. IC2 coolant. Okay, and then what we need to do to make our overclocker, we are going to have to either do the modular machines, the advanced carpenter, which I think is probably going to be a little bit later. Yes, yes, it's going to be a little bit later. But we can also just do the carpenter itself. It's 2 overclockers per craft. So to make this, we're going to need to actually do a little bit of forestry. I don't know if this is actually going to finish a quest. There's a quest here to make a sturdy casing. And then we get to pick between bronze ingot, sturdy casings, or aqueous accumulators. I'll probably take the sturdy casings in that case. Okay, so we're going to need to make that. So we're going to need 2 copper gears, 2 bronze gears, and 4 bronze ingots. I've actually got a bunch of bronze, I think. Oh, no, I used it. Okay, let me throw a little bit more bronze in there. We've actually never made a gear cast, which is pretty simple. Just wood gear, and then we can toss that in. I have just enough bronze made up. I'll have to make some more bronze. I don't use it a whole lot, but it would be nice to have a little bit more of. And then we're also going to need the two copper gears, which I only have 50 stacks of copper. So, and the nice thing is, once we get this UUM matter up and going, we can actually use UUM matter in our smeltery, which is the 2nd hottest liquid in the game, or in the pack. So that's definitely going to come in handy as well. And then we're also going to need, well, we can use fresh water. We'll just use fresh water. Let's see, the carpenter, yeah, it's just 2 buckets of fresh water. We'll do it. There we go. I still need to make a toaster. I've been meaning to make a toaster for a bit. Okay, and there's some lapis. Yeah, see, it's up and running now. And I mean, we're getting in millibuckets of distilled water at a decent rate. It's not terrible, you know. Just basically waiting for day at this point. Okay, I've got the stuff to make the sturdy casing. So here we go. And it makes 2 at a time. And then that should complete this quest. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and take the 4 sturdy casings. Those will come in handy. And it's a lot better than taking the 32 bronze, in truth. So there we go. 6 sturdy casings. And then the first quest of forestry. We'll go ahead and detect that. There we go. And we get to pick a loot chest. We'll take the top one. And there we go. Better questing. We have begun the forestry quest line. And we got candles from Rustic. That's fine. Those will actually come in handy for building. Oh, and by the way, we have updated to the most recent version of the pack. Well, you know, we were waiting a little bit before we updated to make sure there was no bugs or anything. A lot of mods were updated, and Cyclic got a bunch of really nice updates. One of the updates is, look at this. We actually have a separate slot here for our gear swap. So you have 4 additional slots inside the backpack. It actually is quite a bit nicer, I think, that's there. And you know what? This right here can go in the trash can because I don't want that. Okay, so I want to make the carpenter. Let's go ahead and PAL. There we go. And I bet there's a quest for that. Yes. That's usually one of the first machines you make. So we'll go ahead and turn that in. There we go. And we got 2 mending moss. Okay. Probably never use that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our carpenter. We're going to set it up. Let's see. Let's take our fluid ejector upgrade. Is this made any more? No, we're about to be able to make some IC2 coolant. Let's go ahead and we'll just shift right click, automatically output to the north side for our fluid solid canning machine. We'll put this right into there, and then we'll put down our carpenter setting right here. And okay, it's not going to get power. Yeah, it's not going to get power from that. I was hoping it could accept a yield, but I guess not. But luckily I do have a Spectre coil here from exploring. I didn't think I had any use for it, but I guess I do. We'll put our Spectre coil on there, and there we go. We've got power in here now. And then we can set up our recipe for our overclockers. So this is 610 plates, electronic circuit, and copper cable for 2 of them. And it's just standard copper cables. It's not insulated. Let me go ahead and just grab... Well, actually, I'm going to need to make... I'm going to have to make some electronic circuits. So let's go ahead and make, like... we'll do that. Oh, I'm out of redstone. Let me go grab some more redstone real quick. The nice thing is, by, like, tomorrow when I wake up, we should have plenty of distilled water. So we should be alright. And let me grab... actually, this was making iron plates. I'll just grab these. And then we needed copper cables. So I'll go ahead and grab those. And let me get some more copper cables extruding as well. Okay, so let's set up our recipe. We've got 2,000 millibuckets of IC2 coolant now. So we're getting somewhere at least. And you know what? I grabbed iron plates. I need 10 plates. Go. Luckily, I've got plenty of 10 at this point. Alright, so 10 like that. Electronic circuit in the center. Copper cables. There we go. That's how you make overclockers. And now we're just waiting for the distilled water at this point. What do they have us making? Fermenter, clockwork engine, squeezer, circuit boards, flexible casing, rainmaker. Okay. Anyways, I'll be back here in a minute once we get our other 1,000 millibuckets so that it can make a little bit more coolant. Okay, I've actually been prepping up some stuff because I need 78 heat vents. 78 of these. I need 78 of them. So I've started prepping up some stuff, and I also need a bunch of other stuff as well. But just to give you an idea, I need 78 heat vents. So, yay. So anyways, I've started prepping up some things, but we do have the coolant in here that we need. We have 3,000 millibuckets, and it's running. I actually made 3 more solar distillers up there because I had to make another basic machine casing because we're going to need that here in just a second. So, anyways, let me just put this in here, and there we go. It's ready to make overclockers, and it's going to start running. We're only going to make 2 right now, but like I said, it's on a server. By the time I log on tomorrow, I'm going to have, you know, enough to make quite a few overclockers, in truth. So there we go. There's 2 overclockers. Yay! Our very first overclockers that we made ourselves. And I'm going to hold on to those because, like I said, I actually need, at least as of right now, I need 47 overclockers. So it's going to be a big build, I promise. This is actually our first super build, I think, on this pack, where it's like, I'm not going to craft everything. I'm going to basically just craft all the components, stick it in a crate, and then maybe next episode or whatever, whenever we put it all together, we'll have, you can see like how much stuff this is going to take. It's going to be expensive, but it's going to be worth it. I promise it's going to be oh so worth it. Anyways, we have a little bit more time left in the episode, so what I want to do is I want to go ahead and make our fuel rods. We can go ahead and knock those out. Now right up here in the metal former, I've actually been running some iron plates. And when you run iron plates through on extruding, you get empty fuel rods. Okay, so I went ahead and made 30 of those. I only need 14. Well, no. No, I don't. I need 14 quads. Okay, that's actually not enough. That's not enough empty fuel rods. Let me get more. I need, what, 26 more of those. So I'll get those running. I'll get them running. Because altogether I need 14 quad fuel rods. So, it's quite a bit. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to make another machine here. You can actually do this in the fluid solid canning machine. I'm actually going to use the solid canning machine for this. Just because we can. So we're going to need a couple electronic circuits, and we're going to need a couple tin cans, which are just 10 item casings through on extruding in the metal former. So let's get this. I made up some more copper cables here. I actually need to pull some of this stuff out of here. I don't need all these things in here. I need to go through and sort all this like here soon. Okay, so there's 2 of those. Then we're going to need our 2 tin cans. Grab this. Go ahead and make me those real quick. And then I'll get it back to making more fuel rods. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and toss like an overclocker in here just to speed this up, because I'm definitely going to need it. Maybe, I don't know. The metal former actually uses a decent amount of power. And my power setup, it's good, but it's starting to get outdated a little bit. Like this, it's cool, but we can do a lot better here soon. Okay, so we got our solid canning machine. I'm actually going to put this in. This is a power tier of 1. Let me grab a transformer upgrade. And I actually want another metal former right there. So I'll tell you what, let's pull up this cable for just a moment. And let's put our canning machine right there. Put our transformer upgrade into it. And plug our power cable back. There we go. So that's got power. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our fuel rods. Are these done? No. That's fine. Well, we need to go make up some enriched fuel. And to do this, let's go ahead and throw on our hazmat suit. Let's grab our tiny piles of uranium-235. And let's grab our uranium-238 as well. Okay, and this all comes, of course, from processing uranium. To get this thermal centrifuge, you can see that we were doing the purified crushed uranium. You get 6 uranium-238 and 1 tiny pile of 235 for each of those. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to take our 238. We're going to place it out like that. And then we're going to take our tiny piles of 235 and run it through the middle, and we get enriched uranium nuclear fuel. Looks expensive, but it's actually not too bad. I will say that this right here, these tiny piles of 235, it seems like you're always low on those. You're not so much low on the 238. You tend to have a lot of that. Okay, so there's a stack, and that should be plenty. Well, it's going to be slightly more than what we need. So, and then make sure you wear your hazmat suit for this, because this does give you radiation. And we're going to take it over to our solid canning machine. We're going to toss this inside. And our fuel rods, it's going to start running. We'll drop an overclocker in there. Speed it up a little bit. And our metal former is now done. Great. I'm going to get it making more copper cables, because I'm going to need them. And we'll go ahead and toss those in there. And you can see it's making fuel rods of uranium. Now, once again, make sure you got your hazmat suit whenever you're handling the stuff. You don't want to handle it without hazmat on. This is going to take a little while to run. Let me actually grab... I can deal with just 1 overclocker in that. And how's this doing? Do we have... we got another 1,000 millibuckets of coolant. And we've nearly got another 1,000 millibuckets. I hate whenever you first set up some kind of automation, like on a server, and it's like, you know, we could make it a whole lot faster if we wanted to, but it's on a server. There's not a whole lot of point in the grand scheme of things to make it super fast on a server. But whenever you first set it up, you're like waiting. You're waiting for the stuff. It's terrible. Okay, but anyways, there's our fuel rods. Let's grab, there's 8 of them, so we can make our first 2 quad fuel rods. And then let me grab some iron plates. And what we are going to do is we're going to turn these fuel rods. Now, of course, you can actually run these as they are, but we're going to upgrade them to... you can actually do, if you take a look at fuel rods, you can do doubles or quads as well. Doubles just require iron plates, but we're going to make quads, which take copper plates and iron plates. So, I will say though, right after we set up our first reactors, we will never have to make... I'll probably have to make 1 more quad rod, but after that, we'll never have to make quad rods again. It'll be hands off. We don't have to mess with it. So anyways, there we go. There is 2 quad fuel rods of uranium. And each reactor, of course, we're going to have 2 reactors. Each reactor is going to need 7 of these quad rods. So, fun. It's fun stuff. Okay, there's another, it looks like 8. Let's go ahead and make another 2 more quad rods. Okay, our fuel rods are done. Let's go ahead and grab those. And I'm making a bunch of iron plates right now because I need a bunch of heat vents. And let's go ahead and pow, 14 quad fuel rods. Okay, so those are done. I can mark those off of my list because I don't need them anymore. I will probably make 1 more quad fuel rod, and that's to scan it. But, yeah, we got our 14 to get our first 2 reactors up and going, which is awesome. Now, I know it's about wrapping up point for this episode, so I'm going to end it. But guess what next episode is going to be? It's going to be a big episode. Next, and we actually will probably finish quite a few quests. Just as a heads up, we will finish, let's see, this quest, probably. Because we've pretty much done those already. We will finish this quest, and we might, we probably won't finish these quests. But we will the following episode. We'll get into scanning and stuff. But next episode, we are going to begin UU matter. Exciting stuff. We're going to set up 2 reactors next episode. We're going to get those up and going. And then all of our recyclers, our matter fabricator, and start producing UU matter and letting it build up. And then the following episode, we'll have some UU matter we can start actually scanning and replicating, which is going to be great. How much easier it's going to make the rest of the pack. It really is. Going heavy IC2 at the start, it's going to help out a lot when you have a lot of UU matter production. It really is. It's going to be great. So anyways, exciting episode. Something I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Very, very long time. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. I know I am. I hope you guys are too. And I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button. And go ahead and subscribe if you're not already to stay updated with when new videos come out. And I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time.